Hey, this is Tyler Sweat, Accessible Media Specialist at the Iowa Library for the Blind and Print Disabled. So today I'm going over Braille settings while using BARD Mobile. So I briefly talked about it in another video, but I wanted to kind of dive in and look at it a little differently. We're starting here in the voiceover settings. So down like the second, or I think it's the third option is Braille. You're going to select Braille. And then you're going to have a bunch of options right at the top. And it's output, input, and Braille screen input. So before we do anything, we need to make sure that all of these are contracted. So you have the option of uncontracted 6 dot, uncontracted 8 dot, and contracted. So anything that you get from NLS BARD, from the BARD mobile app, is going to be contracted Braille. So it's really important that you make sure that all of those are set up correctly, because if you don't, it's not going to read correctly on your Braille display. Now this is also where you would hook it up to a Braille display, so all the way down to the bottom. You would hook it up here and Bluetooth it if you haven't done that already. So then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the BARD mobile app just to make sure we have those settings. So when we go into the BARD mobile app, down at the bottom you have Bookshelf, Get Book, Settings, and Now Reading. We're going to go to Settings first. And our second option is Braille and Display Settings. So from here, this is where we need to set it up. So by turning on Braille Reflow, and then we're going to select the size of our device. So we need to make sure that we understand how big our Braille display is. So it goes from 12 all the way up to 40. So you have a lot of different options in between there that you can set it up. And then if you want to, you can have it an auto scroll if you turn that on. And so then that is where, as you're reading the book, it automatically moves to the next. So on 20 Braille display, 20 cell Braille display, it would move to the next 20 every amount of time, which there is a slider to adjust that you can kind of change and to adjust of how long you want it to be there. So then once we're in the Braille Now Reading is where you would go with the book. So you load it up from your bookshelf mode after you download the book and put it into the Now Reading. So then from here, this is where the options that you're going to have is a bookmark button if you want to put a bookmark in a certain place. And then below that is going to be your sort of search options. So you have the previous, you have the next, and then there's a middle button. And so that button you can change to page, volume, bookmark, line. So however kind of you're going to navigate using those buttons. Most of the time though, you're going to be using the buttons on your Braille display, but there is some of those built in, especially if you're jumping around by page or bookmark that you already have in that specific title. So I hope this was helpful. Feel free to reach out with any questions. Link will be in the description, and if you like some, if you like some of the things we've been putting out, feel free to click that subscribe button. Thanks.